main reason, it's because the young, they are not being involved whenever we are having this type of meetings, or whenever we are having this type of board setups or council setups. So I believe it will be a solution, actually a solution which we need to use, or which we need to take advantage from. And I believe also, as you said, as of my country, or as of our country is concerned in Zimbabwe, we are actually still seeing or having this in terms of the organogram of the corporate companies, of all the businesses. And that's why you see in most cases, if you have to start your own business, the moment you die, you as Dr. Chinopereku, you will see everything. It will go just rotten. Absolutely. It will go down. Everything. It will go down. Why? Because there was a gap. But maybe if you are a CEO of a company, at least you need to employ someone who is very young, who will be aware of the whole decorum of the company, who will be aware of the whole etiquette of the company, who will be know about the strategy, the corporate strategy of the company. So that whenever by any chance given that anything happened accidentally or planned, the goal of the company or the mission of the company will be derived until the vision is being accomplished. So I think this is also another challenge which you are having.
Just to comment on the issue of the youth, my worry is, are the youths ready to take these leadership positions? The youths that we have today in Africa, are they ready for that?
In my perception, they are ready, but their readiness is being gripped or is being affected by fear, by lack of confidence. You know, if I'm to be said today, Mr. Priority Mubhawu has appointed you as the CEO of such and such a company, the first thing, before I even start to think on in terms of the strategies for me to deliver or to achieve the vision of that company, the first thing is for me to doubt myself, to say, am I able to deliver? Am I able to lead? Am I able to be a CEO of such a company? So you see, fear and lack of confidence, it will run in terms of my capability. So in terms of my credibility, my dependability, my capability, it will be all affected because of fear. So I think in Africa, the one thing which is affecting us as young people is the fear and the lack of confidence.
And this issue of materialism. And if someone gets these positions, the first thing that the youths today do is to go on Instagram and to go on Facebook and post on Facebook. That's what is more important to them, rather than the deliverables of the roles. So we need to have some reorientation in terms of the mindset of the youths of today, because most of them, yes, you can give them a position to say you are running a department, and you realize that nothing is going to happen because they are misguided in a certain way, and they believe in certificates and qualifications more than their capability to actually perform the duties that are required of them, which is something that we need to emphasize, that you need to deliver tangible results rather than certificates. It's worrisome to see a lot of youths with no sense of direction. You are working in the bank and you see people working on one position for the next 2-3 years, and they don't have any sense of direction regarding their own personal development. How then can they develop their own kids or generations to come when they are stuck in one office for 2-3 years? And they have no sense of saying, no, I have to do something. All they think about is, I need to apply to move from this bank to the other bank and get maybe $100 or $200 salary difference. And they celebrate, they relax, they go back to their shell for the next 2 years again. And the whole life is already ended. So there's need for that reorientation, I think.
Yeah, actually, you are actually on point, Doc, as you rightly said it, that the reorientation is actually a necessity to us, so that we might, or maybe might see ourselves shifting in terms of our focus. The issue or the problem being that if we are not to be reoriented, we are going to be myopia as we are right now, that whenever we are to focus on the things which are present now. You know, I am to move, as you rightly said, to another bank because I've seen that there is a salary difference of $200. But okay, what will be my future, or who will I be in future? If I am to say I want to give inheritance to my children, with that salary difference of 200, what will I give them? But you know, I know very well that the best teacher is someone who was taught correctly. So which is to say, for you to be a teacher, you must also to learn on other lands, and also to learn how best can you grow or groom your kids. Because we are more doomed today, especially in our community. Maybe I'm just referring Africa as a community or Zimbabwe as a community. Okay. In the sense that we believe that whenever our fathers they fail, even ourselves we are also, it's automatically that we are going to fail. But I believe if we are to think critically, if we are to get this reorientation, as you say, we are going to change things. And we are going to drive it in a different way that everyone will be happy. Because you know what? There's one thing which I learned from this my area of concentration, to be precise, of change management. That change, it will be embraced by everyone. You will be called a doctor by everyone. But actually, the mindset of being a doctor, it was started by you alone. So change to be supported by everyone, but the mindset itself, it might be started by one person to think that actually, guys, we really need to have a new launch to change our current performance or to change our current way of doing things. But what is needed now is a focus, as you say, which is lacking to the youth. That if they are to be given an opportunity, they'll be ended up embracing other things. You get in the expense of building their career, which I believe that if we are to build our career very well, if we are to mend what we have, it will help us. Then maybe before that, I want also to comment on something which I think myself, in my perspective, it will also help us, and it's also a challenge that the model which is being used maybe to interview people, it's myopia, or it's actually concentrating on minor things, on leaving out other important things. Because if you are to say, given maybe we have an organization, we want to interview someone for a position, the only thing which we've interviewed about is in most cases made the hard skills of somebody, to say, what have you achieved? How many certificates do you have? How many recommendations do you have? And so forth and so forth. You get. But there's the soft part of it, to understand very well that this person is a dependable person. I think that one is being given maybe 10% whenever these interviews are conducted, which we are supposed to give that thing 90% or maybe more than 80%. Because if we are also to interview in terms of dependability of a person, are you really a problem solver? Because whenever we are to hire you, we are saying, we are acknowledging that we have a problem of leadership, or we have a problem of resource. But are you able to solve that problem? But you see, as young people, we are not focused. We just think that to go for an interview, or whenever we are to answer interview, we just answer it theoretically. But this thing, or this lesson, doctor, to tell you the truth, I learned it from OLD, to just say it will acquaint us in terms of the skills, both the soft skills and the hard skills, which I believe if we are to be interviewed by real interviewers who are to go to cut across all these multidisciplinary functions, we are able to deliver, because we have come out from something which is called OLD, which is there to acquaint us in terms of all these cross-disciplinary functions.
That is very much important. It's interesting to get into these conversations and see how we can develop not only ourselves, but our families, our organizations, and the society at large, because the society is ailing. It's so disturbing, especially when you look at our situation in Zimbabwe. The situation is terrible, and people need to awaken to something and start doing something differently than what we have been doing in the past. So conversations help us to get there and get people to that moment of reflection and reorientation. That's why we emphasize these igniting, insightful conversations that really pushes people to think and move away from just celebrating mediocrity that is happening today. People just celebrate to say, I'm working in a bank, and they celebrate that, but they are not putting value to the bank itself. They are not putting value to their society. People celebrate certificates, people celebrate certain artifacts that they get, which have no value in the end. So it's something that we are trying to correct and get professionals who are awakened, who are enlightened, and realize that most of these things they are useless. We don't need them. What we need more is value addition to our circles of influence.